If you're trying to make a big jump this offseason, this is exactly how you should schedule your week. And disclaimer, if you're not extremely serious about this sport, then don't even try this. This is for players who are really trying to separate themselves. So firstly, let's forget the idea of trying to train like Kobe Bryant. You aren't a grown man with a very high training age with access to the best trainers, the best therapists, the best chefs. So we're going to be very smart about how we structure this. Many of you are going to be playing AAU or some type of summer ball. So normally what I see is about 2 days of practice per week. So let's assume that that's Monday and Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m., but you can plug in whatever your practice times are. On practice days, you do not go crazy. This is where you're going to have a lower intensity skill session. So it's going to be about an hour, it can be a little bit longer, but you're going to be doing a lot of volume shooting, maybe some more stationary ball handling, some form work, some more work on touch around the rim, things like this. You're not trying to kill yourself, you're just trying to get reps here. So you want to have some separation between this workout in your practice. So if you're in school, you're either going to do this before school or directly after school. Because let's say you're able to get it done by 4 p.m., you still have those 2 hours of rest before practice starts, and because it's a lower intensity session, you're going to be able to feel fresh for that practice because that's where you actually earn your minutes. Tuesday and Thursday is where you're going to have your higher intensity days. So this is where you're going to have a lower body lift. So you're going to actually get into the weight room. You're going to do some plyos, sprinting, cutting, changing direction, things like that. And you're going to have an on-court session where you're doing more game speed moves, a lot more change of direction stuff, a lot more footwork, a lot more finishes around the rim that are a little bit higher intensity. So this is where your workout, again, is going to be around an hour. You probably can't push it to 2 hours. If you are, you're not going intense for that whole time. You want a high intensity workout here. This is going to be much more taxing on your body. Ideally, you don't do those workouts back to back. You have some separation between them so that you can actually rest and be fresh for the both of them. But if you have to do them back to back, I would say do the lift first and then go on court. Friday is going to be your day off. I wouldn't say take the entire day off, but here's where you're going to be doing some more stationary ball handling, some light shooting reps, and maybe some light upper body and mobility work. Really shouldn't take much of your day. It should take like 30 or 45 minutes. For the rest of the day, you get off court and you just chill. You just have fun, do anything not related to basketball. We're also trying not to burn out mentally here. Often what happens when you're playing AAU is you have games on the weekend. So on Saturday and maybe on Sunday, you're going to have games. So this is going to replace your workout. So let's say you have 3 games on Saturday, you're not going to work out. If you want to put up extra shots, you feel free to do that, but it's going to be all lower intensity so that you're actually fresh for those games. A lot of times what happens with AAU is that if you win the majority of your games on Saturday, you play on Sunday. We're just going to assume for this video that you are playing on Sunday. Here's where you're going to actually lift upper body after your game. So this is what a lot of NBA players do because you're able to kind of bank up your rest and really be efficient with your workload here. You have that Monday as a lower intensity day, so lifting the day before kind of gives you a little bit of a recovery on Monday, but it also doesn't fatigue you for the actual game, which would happen if you were to lift before the game. So here you can see we basically have 2 workouts per day. On Monday and Wednesday are lower intensity days. We have our lower intensity skills workout. So that's where you're going to be doing more stationary ball handling, more shooting reps, and then you have your practice, which also counts as a workout. Then on Tuesday and Thursday, you have your higher intensity days where you get that lower body lift in and you get your higher intensity skills workout in. On Friday, you have a light day or a day off, and on Saturday and Sunday, you have games and at least 1 upper body lift. Now, a couple of rules here is that you have to be smart about how you're structuring this. So plug in whatever schedule you have, right? Because this is just an example. But let's say you are a player who doesn't play much in games. On those days where you have games, it's not going to count as a workout for you, right? You barely got in the game, so you can still do, and you still should do, a skills workout. If you are a player who gets a lot of touches, who plays most of the game, those days are going to count as workouts. Another thing to be smart about is how your team practices are scheduled. So if your team practices have a 30 or 45 minute segment of shooting, then maybe you can take away some of the shooting reps that you were going to do on your own time and you can fill another bucket. If in your team practice, you just kind of walk through plays and you just kind of do a scouting report, then that's where you probably can still do a skills workout with all the shooting reps and all the ball handling reps that you would do normally. If you're in school, you have a whole nother thing to worry about because you have school up until around 3 p.m. So that's where either waking up before school and getting a workout in or directly after school is going to be good. If you have practice earlier in the day where it's like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., then that's where you're gonna have to work out after practice. So you have to sort of be smart about what your schedule actually is. In the summertime, obviously, there's no school to worry about, so you're gonna be able to get more of these workouts in. But a lot of you are still in school watching this video, so that's where you're gonna have to be smart. A couple more things to think about is you don't want your workload to spike very intensely from week to week. If you're someone who's never really worked out consistently, just jumping into 2 workouts a day is going to leave you very sore, and you might even get overuse injuries. So you want to work up to this, maybe 30 more minutes per week than you're used to, and then you can kind of work up to the total workload. I would actually say ideally you have 3 workouts a day. You have a lift, you have a skill session, and you have a shooting session. That can be high intensity or low intensity. So one day is going to be higher intensity, the next day is going to be low. But that's another thing that you want to work up to. So if you're still, only doing one workout a day, don't just jump to 3 workouts a day. That's going to not be good for you. You're going to get overuse injuries. You're going to feel very sore. Anytime you have practice, games, or pickup, those are going to replace a workout if you have a lot of reps. If it's super light, then I wouldn't count those as workouts. If you're not getting much touches, if you only play pickup for 10 minutes, then really don't count it as a workout there. This is how I structure all of our players that train here at our academy in the Bay Area. This is how I structure their at-home programs, so it can be a lot. But again, if you're trying to make a big jump, you cannot expect uncommon results from common effort. You got to put in the work, right? Work hard, but more importantly, work smart, and we'll see you guys in the next one.